What tools do you need to succeed in a master's program? I'm going to share with you some of the main tools that I'm using to prepare for my master's program and which tools I use to organize and run the rest of my life and my various projects. Hello friends, and welcome back to the Unenlightened Generalists. I'm Odin Halvorson. Before I jump into the content today, please take a moment to like this video and then subscribe to our channel. Also click the little bell icon so that you get updated anytime we post new content. As I mentioned in my last video, I am beginning a Masters of Library Information Science course. This will be my second master's degree after my Masters of Fine Arts and Creative Writing program. Now, because I have so many projects going on in my life, from the novels that I'm working on, to the community that I lead, to my work volunteering for different organizations like Every Library and Socrates Cafe, I need to make sure that the work that I'm doing for my master's program fits into the schedule as tightly as possible. The first tool that I use for all of my projects is Obsidian. This is something that I ran into during my first master's program, and it allowed me to do so much more than I ever thought was possible. And I'm still learning. I'm still a novice at using this system, but it's already made me more productive and made me generally just happier with what I am producing in the first place. It's fun, it's productive, it's deceptively simple and difficult at the same time, but I'll save that for another video. Right now, I'm just going to go through and quickly walk you through a little bit about what my Obsidian looks like. This is one of the highlights of the Obsidian program, the graph view. These are all of the notes that I've made. You can see that I am using filters to color code different types of notes, which is really just handy. So you can see this is one of the big essays that I wrote for the International Conference for the Fantastic and the Arts just last year. And this required a lot of work. You see, look at that. Wow, this is kind of fun. It's almost addicting just dragging my little notes around. Probably making you dizzy. All right, so there's some other great features here. I can go and drag different notes. And see, by doing this, I can create different connections within a sort of limitless canvas, which is really nice. The idea of Zettelkasten is that you could take all of your notes and put them down onto the table and rearrange them and find those connections. Obsidian didn't used to have this canvas mode, and it made it a lot harder to form those connections in a way that I found intuitive. I really like working with physical spaces and physical materials, so this was a really nice addition. All right, so that's just a quick little introduction into Obsidian. There are plenty of videos around the internet about Obsidian and how to use it and how to use the Zettelkasten method. I will be making my own eventually as well, so keep an eye open for that. So the other tool that I am using pretty heavily these days is Notion. I'm actually transferring a lot of the work that I had been doing over in Obsidian onto Notion because it just makes more sense for how the two different programs work. In Obsidian, I really want to just have my knowledge work. I just want to have notes on content. I want to have that kind of deep, connected, interconnected Zettelkasten framework for my second brain. In Notion, it is super easy to use. Obsidian can do a lot of cool things, but if I want to, for instance, publish things to the internet directly from my Obsidian, I have to pay a pretty large fee. As a student with Notion, it's free, and my wife is a teacher, so for her it's also free. That makes our life really easy. We've got everything here from our to-do list, our notes, our home and organization shopping list, projects for the unenlightened generalists, everything here that we need to think about together. Then I also have my own separate section here that I'm working on, personal tasks, notes, reading lists. This is where I've set up my SJSU student dashboard. Now I've got a couple of main notes, things to the main portal, the Canvas portal. Then down here I have my different classes sectioned out within a little database of their own, so they're easy to see. For instance, this one just began, so I can jump in and take a look at who is running the course. I've got some information here about what is due in the course, any correspondence that's really important to take care of, and then things like notes, readings, questions, and the syllabus I've all imported here directly into my Notion. So this is something that, if I had an Obsidian, I might click the random note button and come across it. I don't need this. This isn't going to form connections for me in the same way. But anything that I take here in notes, I am probably going to be moving over to Obsidian. Here, it's going to be like bullet points, the most basic stuff that I need to remember, and then I can start forming atomic notes from that I shoot over into Obsidian to start forming my knowledge network. If we go down a little bit here, you can see all of my to-dos for all of my classes laid out in this database here. So these are linked databases. And then down here, I've got personal project stuff. I've also got admin material. So for instance, I really want to keep track of everything that I need to do for my MLIS, especially things like grants and scholarships. So I've got grants here that are, really important. I've got a page filled with scholarships that I'm working on applying to. I've got things like the medical services portal, the academic calendar from the whole school, just other important information about the iSchool part of SJSU. Now, you might think that between Obsidian and Notion I have enough digital tools at my disposal. You would be wrong, however. I need a single location, a really advanced database system to maintain all of my sources, all of my research work. What I use is Zotero. Zotero allows me to generate bibliographies, in-text citations, anything that I need, and it allows me to store everything with a simple button click. Honestly, if there is any single system that you decide to use for your master's program, if you don't want to use Notion, if you don't want to use Obsidian, learn Zotero. It will save your butt 1,000 times over. So why don't we just take a quick look at it. Here is something that I was working on for the project for my Found Families paper that I submitted last year. These are all my sources. I was drawing from all of these and including them all in my paper. So that's how advanced you can get when you have something like this managing your sources. So you don't just rely upon a handful of sources. You can grab really cool things from dozens of them. Let's take a look here. How about we open up Happy Amicable Cooperation, Mutual Aid, Anarchism, and the image of the bee in the work of Louisa Sarah Bevington. Yeah, no, this was actually a really fascinating essay. So I really enjoyed reading this essay. I was able to find a copy in my online database. These annotations I've actually linked in so that I can put them into Obsidian really easily. I'll show you that in another video. Right now, why don't we just jump into the PDF, which, thanks to a Zotero extension, I can read from within Zotero. Then it's as easy as making highlights. Oop, there we go. Then I can pull those out as annotations, toss them into Obsidian, make notes around them. Boom! I almost instantly have an entire paper starting to take shape. There are other things you can do with Zotero as well. So I haven't really started to add a lot of tags, but you can add tags for easily searching. You'll be able to see related things, and you can start building in a larger collection of notes. So once again, if you're going to use any single system, pick Zotero. It is an absolute life changer. Now, the very last tool that I use pretty consistently on a daily basis for all of my master's work is this. What is this, you ask? This is a Supernote. So if you've ever used something like a Amazon Kindle, you're familiar with e-screen, e-ink technology, where you're able to read something on a screen that doesn't have any sort of backlight. So it's not pixels lighting up and beaming photons into your eyes. It's literally something on a screen that is changing physical properties and then just reflecting back ordinary light for you to read. It's better for your eyes that way. It's easier to read at night. It's much better for your battery life. This little guy lasts weeks on a single battery charge. But where the Amazon Kindle has some huge detriments, one of which being you can't really write on it very well, another of which being it's Amazon. Why would I want to get locked into Amazon's super creepy and annoying little ecosystem when something like this exists instead? This is about the same price as one of the upper end Amazon Kindles, but it allows me to use this fancy little pen. So it allows me to mark things up as I go. It's actually really nifty. As far as e-ink devices go, I really haven't found anything that's better than this, certainly not for the same price range. There are other products on the market that get touted a lot, like the Remarkable, but the use cases for those are actually a lot smaller, and it's not as useful for somebody who has a really busy life or is trying to do multiple things with their device rather than just write. So with this little guy, I can take notes. It can create and handle and export Word documents. So I can actually take a Bluetooth keyboard and take this places to write. I can import PDFs to read and annotate. I can bring in DRM-free ebooks and read those in here as well. Basically, anything that I own, I can put in this little device and carry it with me everywhere I go. Now, don't get me wrong, when it comes to reading fiction, things like that, there is literally nothing better than a good old-fashioned paper book. The smell, for one thing. I love that. Nerd. Okay, but I know. But when it comes to doing things like my review work for The Strand or my work for the MLIS, I need to have something that I can carry, 10 different books around with me at the same time so that I can work on them wherever I am. And that is where the Supernote comes in. My dream goal, of course, is to become sponsored by Supernote. So maybe they'll take a look at this video and realize what a big fan I am and give me the sponsorship that I've always wanted. Until then, I'm going to continue trying to sell their product because I just think it's really cool and really useful. And I wouldn't be able to do things as efficiently as I do without the Supernote in hand. Well, that's it for today, friends. Thank you so much for watching this today. I hope that you enjoyed and got a little bit out of it. I know we went over things pretty quickly. I want to go into depth with all of these programs in the future in their own series. And as I continue this MLIS specific series, you'll find more tools that I'm using, more resources. Next week, I'm going to actually start going through some of the course material that I'm actually working on in the MLIS and exploring a little bit about what that's like, what it's like to start this program, and what it might be like for you if you're thinking of entering into an MLIS as well. If you have a moment, please give this video a big thumbs up to let me know that you liked it. Also, subscribe to our channel and click the little bell icon so that you know whenever we upload a new video. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Please leave a comment in the comment section if you found any of this interesting or would like me to focus on something in more detail. Until next time, friends, go easy. And if you can't go easy as you can.